last time I did this video. And I'm using the Samsung tablet, and I didn't realize that my entire head wasn't in the video. It was like I think from like here down kind of thing. Anyhow, years ago, in 2020, when I was living at my old apartment, I made a trade with a neighbor, and I don't remember what kind of video camera, security camera it was, but we traded this camera. My plan was to set it in a window and kind of monitor the outside of my place. There was a house next door that had caught fire, and they didn't have a garage. They had like a barn. Essentially, you could drive a car into it. So I suppose it was a garage of some type, but it was a barn-like structure. And after the fire, people didn't break into the house to try and stay. They actually broke into the barn, and I'd caught at least 3 people that had gone inside the barn. They broke into it, and I called the police. The police came. Actually, when the officer first showed up by himself, and I explained to him, I'd seen people going in, he was going in by himself, and I was like, before you go in there, there's at least 3 people in there that I know of. So he actually turned around and called for backup, and like 6 officers ended up showing up. But he actually was approaching with his weapon drawn. And they did find people inside the place. One guy was actually sleeping on a bed of fiberglass pink, which can't be the comfiest. I don't know, maybe he had a blanket. There wasn't any blankets that I saw, but I suppose he had clothes on, but still, yeah. Anyhow, they never, I just didn't want people going in there and, lighting a candle and burn the place down or whatever. Or having drug addicts right next to my house. Just was, not something I was going to put up with. So, security camera, I had it, but inside my window, I couldn't record with the night vision, because when you have a security camera and with night vision, the night vision has red LEDs that whatever the process is. But anyways, when you set this in a window at night, those red LEDs that activate the night vision reflect off the glass on inside, and it doesn't work. So I was like, crap. So I thought, what else could I do with this camera? I had talked about this in the last video, with my pain and former girlfriends that I had. I used to wake up like crying out in pain. And a funny memory of that was I had woken up, and as I was waking, I could hear myself crying out, and it was like a good, like cry out. And I realized that my girlfriend's face was like, inches from my own, so I was like screaming in her face. So before I even opened my eyes, I kind of realized how close she was. So the scream that I woke up with turned into this laugh. I wasn't trying to be cruel. It was just, it was kind of funny that poor girl, she woke up with me screaming in her face. So anyways, but since that time, and it's been well over a decade since I've had a girlfriend, significant other, and I always wondered what I was doing in my sleep. I know people in my family have restless leg syndrome, can flail about. My dad, I think, like really beat up his leg. His bed was against a wall, and his leg was like smashing against the wall so much that it was bruising his leg. So I'm adopted, so it's not an inherited trait. But I set up this camera, and I'm going to put in the description below a link to the YouTube sleep series that I did in 2020, which was setting up this camera and recording what I did in my sleep. And what I found was quite interesting. And in some videos I had to speed it up because it was such a durational and very, very slow movement but it was very strange and repetitive, where in my sleep, I swear, I had no idea I was doing this whatsoever, but in my sleep, and I usually sleep on my right side, I wear a sleep mask, so in my sleep, my arm was coming up to my head, usually about here, so my elbow was up, and very, very slowly and sometimes quickly, my arm would, slowly come down, and then go back up, and then slowly come down and go back up. And some of these were so slow, it was like, 20 minutes for this cycle to happen. So that was really, really strange. The other thing that I did a lot in my sleep was, with my left hand, I would scratch my face. I was always pawing at my face in my sleep, when I first saw it. Well, and even before I had the camera, just to go back a little bit, I used to wake up sometimes with blood here and a cut, usually around the crest of my nose or just on the side here. I had theorized that I was so ugly that in my sleep I was trying to scratch off my face. My brother, because it was saying because I wear a sleep mask, maybe, in my sleep it was irritating me, so I was like trying to get it off or move it, but that didn't seem to be the case. But I took up his suggestion just to sleep without the mask and see if I still did it, which I still did this scratching at my face. The other thing that I did with my right hand was casting spells. There were multiple instances of me doing this in my sleep. I have no idea. So when I moved into this apartment, that camera that I had traded for, that I did the sleep series with, when I set it up here with my new internet hookup, it was no longer compatible with the Wi-Fi that I had. So the camera was kind of obsolete. So I can no longer do, tape any of my record any of my sleeps. So recently, about a month or so ago, I got a Tapo security camera. It's pretty awesome. It has 360-degree movement. You can remotely operate it from anywhere. And it has cool things like a sentry mode, where it, kind of like, scans the room, and it's like constantly kind of moving. It does have some motion detection, which is what I have it set to, instead of just recording the whole entire night. Anytime there's movement from myself or Elsa, it'll trigger the camera to start recording. Now, Elsa sleeps between me and the camera, so a lot of the recordings that I get during the night is like her, stretching or moving or getting up and having a drink of water, or just repositioning herself. So it's not wasting anything, but it's triggered a lot by her movements. The elbow thing that I was doing, the arm thing that I was doing, doesn't happen quite as much. It has been happening, I've noticed, in the last week or so. I've noticed it a couple of times throughout the recordings that I have been doing it again, but it's not anywhere near as frequent as it was in 2020. What are the causes of involuntary limb movement while you're sleeping? Everything from neurological issues, stress, spinal issues. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that can contribute to why you would have involuntary limb movement while you're sleeping. I'd really love, I've been thinking about it, asking my doctor, and I don't know if you need a referral for these kind of things, but, and I don't even know what they're called, you know, doctors who deal with your sleep. I'm not too sure. I know that there are places you can go for sleep tests because they test you for sleep apnea and those kind of things. But I'd really love for them to see some of these videos and, maybe get an idea of why I'm doing these things. I mean, it's not waking me up. It doesn't seem to be disturbing my sleep in any way. But it is just some kind of odd behavior. Of course, I wouldn't have ever known about had I not been recording it, and even if I was sleeping with a girlfriend, you know, if they're sleeping, they might never even know that I do it as well. But none of my past girlfriends ever talked about me doing any weird arm movements in my sleep. So yeah, I don't know if it's just a recent thing, you know, in the last decade. No idea, but it would be very cool to see. So setting up this camera, one of the things that I am doing more frequently than any other movement is the casting spells with my right hand. And again, I don't know, like I don't have any dreams of being a wizard or anything like that, so I'm not exactly too sure why. And it's very specific. It's like this. And I'll just be sleeping and my hand will come up, and you know, either just once or a couple of times, but it happens several times throughout the night. So it's another interesting involuntary movement that I've captured. I'm hoping that I don't know if I can with the YouTube editing. I don't think I can like cut a video and then putting it into another one and that sort of editing. I do have some video editing software on my Mac, but it's a pain in the ass to use. I was trying to use it with those occult videos that I was doing, because I just I didn't really like YouTube's editor because it's pretty limited. Like I used to do a lot, as you know, if anybody who has been watching my videos for some time, that I used to, there was like a text introduction kind of thing, and you used to be able to do something like that with YouTube, but you can't anymore. You can add in subtitles and notes, but you can't add in a a title card kind of thing to say what the video's about. It's just written in YouTube, I guess, kind of thing. But I used to find, it's just a little more professional just to have an opening sequence to the video, and be able to write some text, some time to explain what you're about to see. But yeah, you can't do that with YouTube. And like I was saying, I'd like to be able to plop in just a little bit of this spell casting motion that I'm doing. But I might have to do that as a separate video. So we'll see. Yeah, so just a little update on my weird sleep involuntary movements. And again, I'm going to try and get a little bit of the video just so you can see an instance or a couple of instances of me spell casting in my sleep. Hope you all are well. Everybody take care. It's getting colder and colder. It's a methotrexate day, so that's why I might sound a little low and blah. But sometimes if it's nice enough out, even on a methotrexate day, I'll get out for a little bit of a walk. I try to walk every day, but methotrexate Wednesdays are usually pretty crappy. But if it's nice out, I like to get out. And if it wasn't for the fucking wind, this north wind, it probably would have been a nice day to get out. But yeah, I never got out for a walk. Anyway, everybody take care, season's greetings, and please like, subscribe, leave a comment, or fuck off.